There's a type of power that doesn't announce itself with a roar. It doesn't need chains, trophies, or the validation of likes. It doesn't chase attention, and it certainly doesn't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Yet, the moment it enters a room, you feel it immediately. That icy stillness, that quiet intensity, the unshakable presence of someone who has stared into chaos, wrestled it into submission, and now carries its darkness with a calm, almost terrifying elegance. You know the kind I mean, the presence that makes everyone else pause, unconsciously measuring themselves against it. This is the mind of a true warrior, not just disciplined, but razor sharp, impossibly controlled, and so profoundly strategic that people are unsettled without a single word being spoken. Miyamoto Musashi embodied this. Imagine a ghost walking in human skin, a man whose eyes seem to see far beyond the physical, into the very intent of his opponent. He didn't rely on brute strength, luck, or flashy tactics. He dominated mentally, over 60 duels, each one a testament to his quiet mastery. He defeated men before they even drew their swords, because in his mind, victory was already sealed. This video isn't about vision boards, manifesting dreams, or chasing comfort. It's about crafting a mind so disciplined, so calculated, and so utterly formidable that people cannot decide whether to fear you or revere you. And once you begin to understand how Musashi forged this mind, your perception of strength, discipline, and human potential will shift forever. Part 1. The monster was forged, not born. Musashi wasn't handed greatness. His childhood was far from gentle. His mother passed when he was very young, leaving him alone to navigate the harsh world. He slept under the trees, fought grown men as a child, and in his first duel, he killed. That wasn't childhood, it was war. And yet, he never succumbed to self-pity. No tears, no public sympathy, no excuses, only relentless self-discipline. Every action had purpose. Every second wasted was a second stolen from mastery. Do you remember this quote from Musashi? Let it haunt you. Do nothing which is of no use. Every video you binge, every excuse you whisper to yourself, that's weakness feeding itself, and Musashi would never allow it. His obsession was singular. Mastery. Comfort didn't matter. Fitting in didn't matter. He deliberately chose a path that would break most men, and he walked it alone. Solitude became his crucible, because when you are truly alone, the real enemy emerges, not other people, not circumstance, but your own mind. And Musashi stared down his inner chaos until it shattered, until what remained was pure, disciplined, terrifying focus. And that is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll uncover the exact rituals, the daily habits, and the unyielding mental strategies that shaped Musashi into a warrior whose mind was as lethal as any blade. Part 2. Kill distraction, or be killed by it. I remember a period in my life, just a couple of years ago, when I felt like I was drowning in distractions. Every time I tried to sit down and focus, my mind would wander. I'd scroll endlessly, compare myself to others, and sink deeper into the spiral of feeling behind. It was exhausting, and it seemed impossible to climb out. Then, one day, I stumbled upon an old, worn copy of the Book of 5 Rings by Musashi. This wasn't a feel-good self-help book. It wasn't written to make you smile or feel inspired. No, it was a manual for war. Cold and relentless. One line hit me like a punch to the face. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in all things. Suddenly, Everything clicked. I realized I had been trying to fix my life in fragments, my body, my money, my habits, without a guiding code, without a unified path. Musashi lived by one unwavering principle: be prepared to die, but never unprepared to win. After that revelation, I made a choice. I deleted everything that distracted me, every application, every excuse. I treated each hour of my life like a duel. This wasn't motivational hype. This was life or death. And slowly, my mind began to change. The noise faded. My focus sharpened. Emotions became tools instead of masters. Reactions gave way to control. Musashi's teaching was clear. He didn't show you how to be happy. He showed you how to be dangerous. Part 3. Emotion is the enemy of execution. Musashi once wrote, "The primary thing when you take a sword in your hands is your intention to cut the enemy. Whatever the means." That's not just about battle. It's about life. Think about that. You cannot cultivate a mind like Musashi's if you are constantly reacting. You cannot build anything meaningful when your emotions dictate every decision. Musashi wasn't cold by nature. He became that way through relentless discipline. He didn't act on impulse. He moved with strategy and intent. Most men fail under pressure, not because they lack skill, but because they never trained their emotions to shut up. You could hand them a sword, a plan, the perfect moment, and they would still falter. Why? Because their feelings outrank their focus. True mastery, Musashi insisted, is a mind that moves without hesitation, not because the path is easy, but because the inner noise is gone. He didn't rage, he didn't beg, he didn't fantasize, he simply acted. And in today's world, that kind of restraint terrifies people. Why? Because when you don't react, they don't know what you're thinking. And when they can't read your mind, fear takes over. They start imagining possibilities, always fearing what you might do next. That silence, that measured control, is more powerful than any shout. In the next part, we'll uncover how Musashi trained his body and mind together, building a deadly harmony between thought and action that allowed him to dominate every duel he faced. The lessons aren't just for warriors, they're for anyone who wants to master themselves completely. The restraint Musashi cultivated in his mind made others fear the unknown, the uncertainty of what he might do next. When people cannot read your intentions, their imagination fills in the gaps, and fear takes hold. Musashi trained relentlessly until his mind became quieter than his own breath. Pain, fear, praise, even the concept of death itself, these became nothing more than data to analyze. He wasn't calm because life was easy. He was calm because he had annihilated the chaos within himself. Think about it for a moment. When you face disrespect, when plans collapse, when life throws you off balance, do you act from principle? Or do you act out of panic? If your emotions still run the show, if they pull your strings, you will never move like a warrior. You need to build a mind so stable, so locked in, that nothing can hijack it. Because once you master your emotions, you master execution. And once you master execution, there's no need to boast about power, you simply become it. Part 4. Face death, and nothing can touch you. Musashi meditated on death every single day. Not metaphorically, not poetically, literally. He envisioned himself being killed, torn apart, erased from memory. Why? Because the moment you accept death, you stop fearing it, and the moment you stop fearing death, you become untouchable. As Musashi said, the way of the warrior is resolute acceptance of death. Think about all the choices you avoid because of fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of judgment. But what if you had already made peace with the worst-case scenario? What if you moved like a man with nothing to lose, but everything to prove? That is the moment you stop reacting like a civilian and start acting like a weapon. This is why Musashi was terrifying, not just for what he could do, but for what he had already faced. He didn't fear pain. He didn't fear death. He didn't even fear solitude. And that, ultimately, is why no one could break him. Part 5. Modern weakness disguised as self-care. Here's a hard truth. Much of what is called self-care today is nothing more than escapism. Take a break. Be gentle with yourself. Protect your peace. But Musashi didn't protect his peace, he earned it. By walking through fire, your mind does not grow stronger by avoiding stress. It grows stronger by conquering it. You do not evolve by feeling safe. You evolve by stepping into fear, fully aware it might destroy you, and doing it anyway. Think about the people today who crave the strength of warriors but refuse their discipline. They want the glory, the results, the aura of power, but they skip the fire, the struggle, the relentless honing of mind and body. Musashi shows us that true mastery isn't about comfort. It's about forging yourself through adversity until your presence alone commands respect and fear. And in the next part, we'll examine how Musashi's daily rituals, his training, and his unyielding habits combined to create a mind and body in perfect harmony, one that allowed him to face any opponent, any challenge, without hesitation. The lessons are brutal, but they are the blueprint for building a warrior's mind in the modern world. Part 6. Create inner silence, or become a slave to noise. In the last years of his life, Musashi retreated into a cave, completely alone. He wrote, he reflected, he trained, he faced mortality slowly, yet with unshakable grace. And here's what's remarkable, he didn't fear the silence. Instead, he became sharper, clearer, more focused within it. Contrast that with most people today. They can't sit in silence for 5 minutes without panicking. They constantly seek noise, distraction, stimulation, anything to escape the voice in their head. Musashi ran toward that voice. The more you train your mind to endure stillness, no music, no scrolling, no talking, the more your mind transforms into a fortress. Once your thoughts stop controlling you, you start controlling everything. Part 7. Be the storm, not the branch. Here's the brutal reality most won't tell you. Life is merciless. People will lie, friends will vanish, plans will fail, you will be betrayed, mocked, underestimated, and abandoned, and no one is coming to save you. Musashi knew this, so he sharpened his mind like a blade, not to cut others, but to cut through reality itself. No fear, no fantasy, just clarity, precision, and purpose. And if you do the same, if you build a mind that doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, doesn't depend, you will terrify people, not because you are cruel, but because they will see something unfamiliar, a man who cannot be broken. The final breath of the blade. The world is full of noise, but Musashi teaches you to become the silence within it. The world is full of fear, yet he shows you how to walk into the storm completely naked and emerge calm, unshaken. This isn't about swords, it's about your mind, your code, your future. Build a mind so unbreakable that people can take your money, your status, even your body, but they will never, ever touch your mind. In that silence, that stillness, that deadly calm, You will smile. You will smile because you have become the blade itself. Part 8. Master your environment, not just yourself. By now, you understand that Musashi mastered his mind, his emotions, even his fear of death. But mastery doesn't stop there. A true warrior shapes his environment. Musashi didn't wait for challenges to find him. He prepared for them, anticipated them, and arranged his surroundings to favor clarity and control. In today's world, your environment is digital, social, and mental chaos. Every notification, every distraction, every unnecessary obligation chips away at your focus. Musashi teaches that if you do not control your space will control you. Organize, simplify, cut out the noise. Make your environment a reflection of the discipline inside you. When the world outside aligns with the calm inside, your mind becomes unstoppable. Part 9. Actions speak louder than philosophy. It's easy to read Musashi's words and feel inspired. It's much harder to act. Knowledge alone does not forge a warrior, only repeated action does. Musashi trained tirelessly, not for appearances, not for accolades, but for the perfection of motion, thought, and reaction. Ask yourself, are you simply studying success? Or are you living it? Are you applying the principles you admire? Day in and day out? Every action, every deliberate step, is another strike of the blade honing your mind and body. Discipline isn't a concept, it's a lifestyle. A series of tiny choices made consistently. And when those choices accumulate, they create power that cannot be taken, bought, or faked. Part 10. Leave a legacy, not a footprint. Finally, Musashi's life teaches us the ultimate truth. A warrior seeks not to be remembered for wealth, fame, or comfort. He seeks to leave a legacy through mastery itself. Your legacy is the sum of the mind you've built, the principles you've lived, and the chaos you've faced and conquered. Imagine walking through life so fully present, so disciplined, so unyielding, that your influence is felt long after you are gone. This is the final level of the Musashi mindset, living as a force that transforms reality, not bending to it. When you reach this stage, your mind, your actions, and your presence echo through time. You become more than a person. You become a standard, a silent storm that others cannot ignore. And with that, the path of Musashi is complete, not just as a legend, but as a blueprint for anyone willing to endure fire, face fear, and walk into chaos with unshakable calm. The lessons don't end here. They're yours to practice every day until you, too, become the blade. Looking back at the 10 signs of a strong aura, we see that true power isn't about showing off. It's about calmness, wisdom, compassion, and the way you walk through life. A radiant aura doesn't need to prove itself. It simply shines and inspires. If you're on the path of self-growth, remember this. Your aura is built in every good action, every clear thought, and every challenge you overcome. The more peace you cultivate inside, the brighter your light becomes outside. So ask yourself, what legacy will you leave? A fading shadow, or a light that others will always remember? The choice is yours, and it begins today. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this reminder. Together, let's spread more light into the world.